So I finally finished watching Gen V, the spin-off show to The Boys that follows a bunch of superheroes that are in this boys' world that are going to school for superheroes and trying to figure out, it's kind of a coming-of-age story as well as, another The Boys type, ultra-violent, ultra-conspiracy, meta-commentary on the superhero genre as well as the superhero industry in our real world. And I have some thoughts about it because I am a very, very big fan of The Boys. I love all 3 seasons of the show, and this show, I feel like I'm a little bit mixed on. I definitely, overall, I'm very positive about it. I think it was a very successful show. I think it's as good of a spinoff as you could have really expected, but I do have some cons and some things that I'd hope to see in the second season, some things they do differently. So let me get right into it, and I do want to say before I start that there will be some spoilers ahead. So in Gen V, we follow the character of Marie as she attends this new college type thing. It's a school for superheroes. And Marie has this incredible power where she's essentially a bloodbender from Avatar: The Last Airbender. She has one of the coolest powers in this universe, and the show opens with one of the coolest and best scenes. It's very similar to the opening scene of The Boys, except here we see yet another tragedy that stems from superpowers and accidental tragedy related to powers surrounding superpowers, and it's really just the most boys universe type scene out there, and it's just absolutely incredibly done and a great way to start the series. As Marie starts school, we get introduced to a bunch of different characters, some of them very interesting, some of them not interesting at all, and that's kind of my main complaint about this show, is that when it first starts and it first introduces the premise and the ideas of this school that has some shady stuff at it, but it's mainly like this competition amongst kids, there are some really good ideas presented that made the show kind of feel like My Hero Academia to me. My Hero Academia is one of my favorite animes, and I thought, man, if you could take that and bring it here into this hardcore R-rated boys comedic type show, that would be so cool, because My Hero Academia is such a cool concept. This school of kids that are all superheroes that are ranked and are trying to compete with each other to get better and better and better and be these big heroes. It's a great show with awesome fights, and if you could somehow translate that into a boys style show and just do like a sub commentary on it, that would be great. And that's what I kind of thought they were going for in some of these early episodes, and it ended up just being more of, like in The Boys, this kind of unraveling of a conspiracy and unraveling of these schemes against heroes and against regular humans and trying to figure out what the dark mysteries behind some of the conflicts going on here. And for the most part, I think the conflicts that they have here and the overall story that they tell is pretty good. I think it's very safe and sort of basic. I mean, the mystery here is something that we've seen a million times before. It kind of reminded me of the New Mutants movie, which is nowhere near as good as this, but it's a very similar concept that's definitely been done before, and where the show actually gets to be a little bit different and a little bit unique is within its characters and within the universe that this takes place in. And some of the characters here are really great. I love Emma, I think her name is, the one that gets really big. I thought she was great. She's sort of this superhero that just has no real future in being this big, ginormous superhero that's going to be, super popular, but she's hanging out with all these characters who are all trying to be in the Seven, trying to be the next big thing, and she has a really interesting arc that I enjoyed. But a lot of these characters, specifically Marie, the main character, are really forgettable, and there's no character in this show that truly stands out as, like when you watch The Boys, you have Homelander, who's immediately this star character, amazingly played by Anthony Starr, and you also have Butcher, who's just, all of the characters in that show are just like icons. They're amazing characters, even the smallest characters in the show, and this show just kind of lacks that. I feel like a lot of the characters that were involved here just did not do anything for me. They kind of felt basic and kind of cut from every single other show out there that takes place, telling a story about teenagers or college students, and maybe that was the point, but to me the characters here were just a little bit boring, and I hope in the next season that they can add a little bit more depth to them and we could see them be a little bit more interesting. Because I swear to God, as the show ramps up and you get to the chaotic finale, which yes, the finale of the show is amazing. It's chaos, it's great, it's bloody, it's violent, it's well performed and all that stuff, and we get to see characters from The Boys come in, which are always great, and it's always great to see them, and then Homelander comes in from one scene and has one line, and it's the best part of the entire season, and it reminded me that the show is just not as good as The Boys yet. It's just not there.
What kind of animal are you?
there's just a presence with Anthony Starr's Homelander character that is just missed in the first 7 episodes of this show, something that's not missed in The Boys. But even when they don't have Anthony Starr, they have Butcher, and they have all these other characters. Even when Soldier Boy shows up in this season as just like a little cameo, like you can just see, like, man, this is kind of what I want, and instead we got a lot of these really sort of boring characters that are just kind of doing their thing. But overall, I was never bored watching this show. I was never hoping for it to end, you know, it never dragged. It's well-paced, it tells a very entertaining story, it's very graphically violent like The Boys is, which is what you want to see. It's funny at times, there's definitely a lot of big swings when it comes to the jokes and just weird, cringy comedy and violence that they do. It's all in here, and it's all done really, really well. I think where it gets to from a conclusion definitely gets me excited for whether it's The Boys Season 4 or Gen V Season 2, wherever they decide to continue this story. I'm definitely excited because it left it in a very interesting spot, and I'm definitely excited for the future. But the main thing I'm excited for is the fact that this show proved that you could do spin-offs to The Boys, you could tell other stories in that universe and actually have it be successful. Although not as good, you definitely could. There's a pathway to doing more shows like this, which is exciting. Although I wouldn't love to see The Boys turn into a super franchise, because I think the entire point of The Boys as a story is the fact that like the whole superhero trend and craze is kind of stupid, and on the inside of the whole superhero industry are these gigantic corporations that are making billions and billions of dollars, and that's all it's really about. It's about the money and the commercialization of all of it. So it would be a little silly for a show that's trying to expose that to end up being a big franchise, but you know, it's Amazon, so who knows. But overall, I will give Gen V a 4 out of 5. I definitely really enjoyed it. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe, like this video, turn on notifications. I'll see you guys in the next one.